Hello, this is a very special worksheet on factoring strategies. Now we have learned a lot about factoring and here are some unique problems. Most of them apply different techniques. I would like you to make a copy of these problems and try to solve them yourself. And then I will give you the solutions of these problems. Now here you can start copying them. The first question is x squared minus 7xy plus 12y squared. Then we have 3p cubed minus 10p squared minus 8p. C is x to the power of 4 minus 10x squared plus 9. Then x to the power of 8 minus 1. Then here we have, let me just put it in the screen now, x squared plus 6x plus 9 minus 4y squared. And here we have m squared over 36 minus n squared over 49. See, here we have four terms and here we have difference of squares with fractions. Correct? Now I'll solve some of these problems. Now here are some more which I would like you to do yourself. These are practice problems based on the top 6 problems, right? So the strategies which we are going to learn while solving the first few problems can be applied here straight away. So this is xy squared plus 2yx minus 3y minus 6. Question 2 is 6p cubed plus p squared minus 5p. Then we have difference of squares, similar kind as in f. M squared over 18 minus n squared over 8. And then 20x squared minus 70xy plus 60y squared. And lastly, we have 8 to the power of x to the power of 8 minus 256 and x to the power of 4 minus 2x plus 3 whole square. Alright, take your time to solve them. You can stop the video at this stage and then later on look into the solutions. Okay, I will try to solve the problems one by one and will explain you the strategies which will follow. Correct. Let's start with the very first example, which is a squared minus 7xy plus 12y squared. Well, this is similar to most of the trinomials which you have factored, and we will use the same strategy, product and sum. The only difference sometimes my students face problem with is when I write, instead of just the number 12, I write 12y squared, and that creates an issue, right? Many times they get puzzled. How to get two factors whose multiplication is now not 12 but 12y squared and the sum as 7xy or something like that. Right? It is like really confusing. Therefore, I thought I will take it here. Now, basically, what we are looking forward for is product should be this number. Now, in this kind of an example, treat y as a constant and assume that you have a polynomial only in one variable and your variable is x squared. That will kind of help you to, get to the point. The idea is to factor the trinomial, correct? So that's how we will go to. So we need a product. That means when we do p times q, what should we expect? We should get 12y squared, okay? And when we add p and q, what should we get? Minus 7y. Is it okay? Now these are the two numbers we're looking for. So what could be the numbers? 4 times 3, is 12. So, and if we take negative 4 and negative 3, we do get negative 7 as their addition. So only difference here is that our numbers this time becomes negative 4y and negative 3y. Do you see that? Now when you multiply them, then y times y is squared. So you get the third term, right? And when you add them, you get the middle term, correct? So that's how it is. And therefore, this will factor to x minus 4y. Is it okay? Because these are the two terms, minus, right? Times x minus 3y. Do you understand? Earlier, if this y square was not there, it was very easy for you because you had done so many like those. Here, since y is there, treat that as a number, okay? Don't worry. You get this result, correct? If you multiply, you'll see it results the same thing. Okay, now second problem. Second is a cubic equation. We were doing quadratic equations. So some students, once they look at this, they think, oh my God, how to do this? Well, the thing is, you can factor out p, right? So if you do that, so we can write this as equal to, I'll write p, and then within square brackets, I will write 3p square minus 10p minus 8. Now do you see? It becomes a normal trinomial, quadratic trinomial with which we had been working. And it's kind of easy now. What is the product? So we want two terms, p and q, whose product should be minus 8. And p plus q should be equal to how much? Minus 10. Correct? So we've got to find two numbers which can give us this. Find those numbers and then see if you can, p times q is minus 24. We have to multiply this with this, correct? Yeah, minus 24, and the sum should be the middle number, minus 10. So what two numbers can do the magic for us? 6 and 4, correct? No, 6 and 4. 6 and 4 if you do, then well, you need minus, that won't work. So we need numbers like 12 and 2, and the bigger number should be negative because we want this. Correct. So we will decompose the central part for you, and I'll write this for you. You can always complete it. So we get 3p square minus 12p and plus 2p minus 8. So when you add minus 12 plus 2p, you get minus 10p. And when you multiply 12 and 2, you get 24. Now, you can always factor these two and these two, correct? And get a common factor of p minus 4 and get the answer, correct? That should be okay. Now, the next one. Here is the hint for this one. X to the power of 4, x to the power of 2. Well, it's a degree 4 polynomial. You had been doing only degree 2. But look like this. Think this is in like this. It is like y square minus 10y plus 9. Think like this. Let y square be x to the power of 4 or y be x square. So it can be translated into a quadratic equation, and then it becomes simpler for us. Think like this. And now what do we need? We need product p of q equals to plus 9 and sum p plus q equals to minus 10. So what are our magic numbers? Both, if you put them negative, because both need to be same sign. Product is positive, but the sum is negative. So the numbers are, what are the numbers? 9 times 1, both negative, correct? So you can write this as a square, but this time instead of writing x, what are we going to write? We will write x square minus 9 times x square minus 1. So this is what we are going to get with these two magic numbers, and our magic numbers were minus 9 and minus 1. But do you see, again you get difference of squares, so you can factor further, correct? So that's important. Look for those things. We say the polynomial has been factored if it cannot be factored any further, otherwise it's incomplete. Difference of squares, so I can write this as x plus 3 times x minus 3, and this one I can write as x plus 1 times x minus 1. Is that okay? So that's complete factorization of this question. Now here, the next problem is x to the power of 8. So do you see, gradually we have moved from 2, 3, 4 and now 8. It could be any number, right? And let's try to factor this one. We'll use the same difference of square strategy which we used earlier. Think it is x to the power of 4 square, and this is 1 square. In that case, I can write this as x to the power of 4 plus 1 times x to the power of 4 minus 1. Now again, you see that x to the power of 4 1 minus 1 is a perfect square. So I can factor this, and I can write this as x squared plus 1 times x squared minus 1. Still, I can factor this. These are not difference of squares. You see that? This is the only one which is now difference of squares. So I am going to factor that one and write the result. So we get 4 factors like this for this equation. So do you see, most of the strategies adopted are different. It's kind of review of all things which we learned so far. Now here is another one. This time it is not a trinomial. We have got 4 terms in this. Wow. How to do it? We combine the two, we don't get a common factor. So that strategy doesn't work. What we see is that this looks like a perfect square. And this is a square itself. So we can factor this, get a perfect square, and then apply difference of squares. Let's try that. Okay. So x squared plus this is 3 square, and the center term is 2 times 3x, that is 6x. So I can write this as x plus 3 whole square, and this I can write as 2y whole square. Do you see that? Yes. So review your strategies and then work on them. Here it is difference of square, so I can write them as a plus b times a minus b. What is a? A is x plus 3 and b is 2y. So I'll write this as x plus 3 plus 2y times x plus 3 minus 2y, and that is how I'm going to factor it. Do you see that? This is a good practice to write numbers at the end. Therefore, I'm writing this as x plus 2y plus 3 times x minus 2y plus 3. Correct? This one is difference of square, very simple. Only thing is, it has got denominator. Fractions, correct? Some students are afraid of fractions. They get puzzled when we see this kind of problem, okay? It's not that difficult at all. I can write this as m over, this is 6 square. So this becomes square minus n over 7 square is 49. Now it's just a difference of square. So I can factor this as m over 6 plus n over 7 times m over 6 minus n over 7. Perfect? So that is how you factor these. There could be many strategies involved, but these are some of the few which I could put on a piece of paper. Well, I hope you learned these strategies, and here are the questions for you to do, correct? Similar kind. Now here what will you do? Well, you can find common terms here. Do you see that? If you can take something common here and something common here, if you take minus 3, you get y plus 2. So you should get y plus 2 here also, okay? And then, so it is by grouping, factor by grouping. This one is first factor out p, get a quadratic equation, and then factor. This one we did. But 18 is not a perfect square, nor is 8. So what will you do? Well, you can first factor out a common factor. Do you see a common factor here? Half. First factor out half and then see what happens, okay? Here. Now in this case also, there is a common factor. First factor out the common factor and then proceed. 6 x to the power of 8 minus this, 256 is also power of 2. Find what power of 2 is 256 and then solve this problem. This is kind of a square minus b square. What is a here? A is x square, correct? And b is 2x plus 3, which will help you to solve this problem also. So in case you land up in some problems, do let me know. You can write your comments, we can discuss and then work the solutions out. Okay? Thank you.